Hi, welcome to my channel, Blooms in the Yard. I'm Kate and I live in Shawnee, Kansas, Zone 6B. I'm excited to share my backyard today because it's my favorite part of the garden. It's a shady woodland retreat. It's a secret garden. When we looked at the house, when I walked into this backyard, it was the moment I knew this was the house. Here's the before, so this is what I saw when we looked at the house for the first time, but I just saw all the potential of the creek in the backyard. It's now definitely my favorite part of my whole yard, and I'm excited to show it to you.
This tall tree here is a columnar Japanese maple, which turns bright orange in the fall. Here I have some tiarella, some astilbe, and some coleus. This oak leaf hydrangea is Alice, which as far as I know is the largest. It says it gets 10 to 12 feet. I am in love with this plant. It can have all the space in my yard because it's just so pretty. It starts off white and then it's going to fade to pink. I am obsessed with hydrangeas. So here we have the Alice oak leaf and then the Annabelle hydrangeas. And then behind the Annabelle is my climbing hydrangea, which used to be in my front yard growing on a large tree. And it was growing up the tree quite a bit and I had to cut it down. So I just cut it down last fall. I'm glad it survived. And my plan is for it to now go on this tree, which might not last forever. So then maybe it can just be a statement piece with the climbing hydrangea on it. And the reason I say it might not last forever is because it's lost some big branches. But I love the shape and structure of it, so I like to be able to keep it, some part of it. This is our waterfall. This is just like a drainage, storm drainage that runs behind our house, and it's such a blessing. It's so beautiful. It doesn't always run, but it rained yesterday, so it's looking really nice right now. So I really like all the ground cover in this area. We've got some heuchera. This is the purple palace heuchera. Purple palace, and then not sure, but that's another lime green heuchera. Got some creeping jenny and some ajuga. And then this bigger massive ground cover is the big root geranium. And then this is turtlehead, which is a native, and it has really pretty purple, like pink flowers in the fall. And then a stained glass hosta. There's another blue hosta in the back there by the red bud tree. Kind of hiding back here. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in here that the oak leaf has kind of taken over, but there's a boxwood, some astilbe, and then really in the back, I'm going to have to pull this out and put it somewhere else. I have a hypertufa with some more of the purple palace. It might not be the purple palace, but some heuchera. And then I do have a mirror. Some people love the mirror, some people don't love it, but it is a smaller yard and I'm trying to just kind of expand the space. And all these rock walls are just free rock that I've collected from friends who will let me take it. There's quite a bit of ground cover under there. This is a red tough stuff red. That's all the blooms I got this year, but I'm gonna maybe move it into a sunnier spot and hope that we get some more blooms next year. I actually think I'm going to move it to where this catmint is, because you can see that it's not getting enough sun and so it's splaying out. So I think that this would actually be a great spot for that tough stuck hydrangea. Under the bunny cover is some anemone. Then we also have not rained a lot, so it's kind of droopy, but those are some balloon flowers. And a little bit of Johnson's blue geraniums, I believe. And I did already show the St. John's wort in my side yard video. In this area, I try to grow some mostly lower growing things so that you can see the waterfall from our little patio area to the right. We've got some purple Pallas heuchera, some Japanese painted ferns, some dittany right here, which is a native. It will bloom with little purple flowers later on. And then there's some creeping Jenny and some impatiens. I also have some wire vine in there. I'm kind of experimenting. I'm not going to keep all these. I'm just kind of trying to decide what's my favorite. But I really love the ferns. I really love the Solomon's seal. This variegated Solomon's seal looked so pretty when it was blooming with the little white bell flowers and the arched branches. I do have a lot of Japanese maples. So this one is a coral bark Japanese maple. There's our waterfall again from the patio. I need to trim back these red bud branches that are covering up our lighting. And then over here I have a summer moon. I might have to look up the name of that Japanese maple. And then in the pot back there I have some impatiens. This coleus was given to me, I've just kind of propagated it. And that hydrangea is supposed to be mini mauvette, but it is white. I have no idea what kind of hydrangea it is, but I don't think it's mini mauvette. This container has some cyclamen, a pink geranium, annual geranium, some coleus, and some purple basil. Probably could have trimmed that up a bit, but that's okay. And then I just put this rock wall little rock wall with some boxwoods behind these chairs to help it to feel more enclosed, that your back wasn't exposed. So I'm anxious for those boxwoods to get bigger. Here I have some coral bells. I think they're peppermint, if my memory serves. And then I have this white Himalayan birch. I went to Colorado and fell in love with the aspen trees, but I didn't think they would grow well here. So I decided that this white birch would give me that look. There's some creeping Jenny growing underneath it. And then I have these 3 boxwoods for kind of the back of my patio. And between the boxwoods, I've planted some hellebores. I've had a really hard time growing hellebores, but I think I've finally figured out the trick that they need to be raised. So this is, I don't know if you can tell, but they're raised up here. They're in a little sort of berm. And I think that that is the trick to getting them to grow, because this is my first one that's been successful and really bulked up. So I have creeping Jenny and a juga, and then the variegated vinca. This fountain was given to me, but it didn't have a pump, and I didn't really have any electricity at that point going out here. So we've just kind of used it as a bird bath. And then I decided to try and see if I could grow some water plants in here. And the water hyacinths do really well. They don't bloom because it's too shaded, but it's really fun to just have something growing in there for me. All of these trees that are lit up are redbuds, which were here when we moved in, but they were, little baby redbuds. And this whole area was actually the invasive honeysuckle and baby redbud trees. And so we've just cleaned them out and edited and left what we thought would look good. So here I have some white begonias growing in front of a boxwood. This sort of tall, slender evergreen just showed up. So I'm not 100% sure what it is. I trim it to be skinny like that, just kind of for fun. And, we'll keep it until we don't love it anymore. In the back, I have the snow sickle oak leaf hydrangea, which I'm obsessed with this plant. I have the hardest time growing it, but I have 2 growing successfully. Neither of them are blooming this year, but for some reason, the bunnies like to eat just that one down, just that kind of oak leaf hydrangea. But it's just so gorgeous. I will never stop trying because I love it so much. So here we just have a blood-good Japanese maple, and then 3 hosta June. Now I always forget what kind. This is definitely like a smooth hydrangea. So in the Annabelle family, but with pink blooms. And I can't remember if it's the Garnetta or the Mini Mauvette. But I'm trying to do sort of a river. I don't think you can really tell from this angle, but a river of creeping Jenny that goes all the way from behind the fountain and kind of spills out here. In this area, not blooming right now, I have primrose. And then ginger. We got a big rain, so the Annabelles are doing what they do. They're flopping. Some other ground covers in here. I have some sweet woodruff, ajuga, lamium. They're all just sort of mingling. And then another big area of ginger. that clematis is done blooming. It's a Comtesse de Bouchard, I believe. I'll just back up so you can kind of see. It's a really pretty backdrop here. So the other side of the creek is kind of like not a cliff, but a rock face. And so it goes higher. So the other houses behind us are a lot higher up. So that just kind of gives us this nice backdrop. And then here's our fire pit area. My husband just cut down a branch, so we have some fresh firewood there. I built this trellis to hide the neighbor's chain link fence. I'm gonna come over here because the light will be a little bit better. Pretty simple design, just 4x4 posts, and then built a little frame for some pre-bought plastic lattice. And it's covered in the sweet autumn clematis. So, you know, a vigorous grower that really gives us that privacy that we were looking for. This area, we've got a lot going on. I need to probably take some things out, but this is the Sun King Aurelia, which is as big as the Annabelle hydrangea. So behind the Sun King Aurelia, there's another Annabelle hydrangea, which is being swallowed up. So I'll probably just take that hydrangea back there out. In here, I need to get this hydrangea off of our little Japanese maple. Now, I can't remember. I'll try to pop the name up. This maple has not gotten as big as it's, supposed to. It's kind of stayed the same size for a long time. This is a drinking gourd hosta. One thing I'll warn you about the drinking gourd hosta. Yes, they collect water. They also collect everything else. So I'll have to come clean it out sometime. But it is a pretty hosta, and I'll keep it anyway. Then I just have a couple evergreen things here, again, to keep that privacy. So we've got some yew and some boxwood. The yellow leaves here are a celandine poppy, so that will die out for the rest of the summer and then come back next spring. A pretty hosta here. I really like the kind of curliness, but I don't know the name of it because it was given to me by a friend. You might have noticed I have Annabelle hydrangeas everywhere. They're so hardy. I love them. In fact, Annabelle hydrangeas are the reason that I started gardening. In a magazine, a decorating magazine, I saw a hedge of the Annabelle hydrangeas, and I had to have them, and I asked for one from my dad for my birthday, and he planted it for me because I didn't even know how to garden at all at that point. I was probably about 30. So this ground cover here is, I believe, Archangel, something like that, and it's supposed to spread aggressively, so I'm going to keep an eye on it. Then a yew and some Brunnera and a boxwood. Oh yeah, and the yard, if it looks messy, we've got cotton everywhere. So, and it kind of makes the plants look a little bit yucky too. But it was a really nice night, and I just decided to come film this anyway. In this area, I have some, not sure the name on this hosta, but it's a, lime green hosta that I've divided up into several bits. And then some ajuga. I did have some blue columbine in here, but it's kind of died out for the year. Some more Brunnera. and some more of the big root geranium. I don't know if you can see it very well, but there's another Japanese maple here. This is the Waterfall Japanese maple. And I get almost all my Japanese maples from Mr. Maple because they're affordable, but you do have to be kind of patient because I get the 1 gallons. So yeah, it takes some time, but this has actually grown quite a bit. I mean, I think it's tripled in size just since the spring. It's easier to see in person. It's kind of hard to see right now. Okay. Behind that, I have another Annabelle, and then I have a lace, Invincible lace. And then just some white impatiens in this hanging container. I'm going to go back over here and we can look at this area under the oak tree. These ferns were given to me. I believe that's a Francis Williams hosta. The ferns have sort of multiplied in this area and I love that. Another hellebore. I planted it here thinking it wouldn't get winter rot because it's planted right underneath the oak tree. So that would kind of keep it a little more dry, and it's done pretty well. We have the wee hosta and another oak leaf. Now, this is supposed to be Gatsby Star. It does not look like Gatsby Star, so I don't think that's what it really is. Some more Annabelles. And this is a fern leaf bleeding heart, which does keep the foliage where the other bleeding heart sort of dies out after spring. I really love my mouse ears hostas. This year they're doing really well with some impatiens. And then I just have a blue hosta, not sure which kind. I have this sedum, which grows okay in the shade. This is the only one I know of that grows well in the shade, but it looks good. And then a sweet William, which is a native. I got it at the native sale. I don't know if we'll be able to see in here. It's kind of dark, but I think we will. There's a Christmas fern and a couple more impatiens, and then a pulmonaria. There's a Jacob's ladder. Everything's being clobbered by the Annabelle right now, but in the spring you can see them really well. Then here I have, this is Invincible Spirit 2. So similar to the Annabelles, but a little bit pink. I'm gonna need to move that because this is where I have that other snowsicle oak leaf, and it's gonna bloom some year. So I am gonna move this Invincible Spirit too, to give that oak leaf some room to grow. Here I have all kinds of stuff. A little hosta. There's a hellebore trying to survive in there. Another blue hosta. In this container, I'm growing some morning glories. They aren't blooming right now, but and then I've just got some geraniums and coleus. I think a couple of impatiens too. The mosquitoes are getting me pretty bad right now. Okay, I have a scented geranium here in this pot. And then this air conditioner is a whole story, but I have 3 little quick fire hydrangeas, which I'm a huge fan of that plant. And this is a newly planted Kusa dogwood. So the story with the AC is it used to be sort of more back in the corner and it used to be a lot shorter. And when we got a new AC, they moved it out and it's like 5 feet tall. So it really like dominates this area, and there's just not much I can do about it. Oh, also, this is kind of off track. I put in this massive window from my kitchen myself with the help of my uncle. I took down cabinets and put it in so that I could have this beautiful view whenever I was doing dishes and cooking. And I think it was absolutely worth the loss of cabinet space. A year or two ago, my husband for Christmas bought me these lights. And I mean, for the cost and for how easy they were to put in, it was so worth it. Like, I thought it would be a much bigger deal than it was. And it was just not a problem at all. And I love it. I was also afraid that like the wires might get munched on because we've got lots of chipmunks and squirrels, and we've never had any problems. They've been here, well, did I say a year or two? Because I'm thinking it's been probably like 3 or 4 actually. But they've been here quite a while and we've had no problems. I really love them. Just kind of extends the time that you can enjoy the garden, because you can enjoy it at night looking out your kitchen window too. I love garden art that's just sort of old found objects. So my stepmom actually gave me that little bench. It was like royal blue when she gave it to me, and I just spray painted it. And we have a light on our white Himalayan birch too. Okay, so there's kind of 2 ways you can go, little path to the right and little path to the left. Just to go around this, another redbud tree. And here we just have a little step, little gravel path, some more Brunnera, coleus. I really like this little plant, just randomly found it at Ace Hardware. It's a box honeysuckle. It kind of reminded me of boxwood, but like in a really interesting kind of low growing habit. And in the spring, it's like chartreuse green. So loving that plant. It's done really well here. This is a dry spot. It's hard to, this area doesn't get quite as much water as everywhere else because the sprinkler just doesn't reach here. Well, since the AC just kicked on and we just got to the end of the backyard, I'm gonna say goodbye, but thanks for joining me. I'm Kate and this is Blooms in the Yard, and I'm really excited to start sharing my garden with the world. I love watching YouTube videos, and I thought I'd love for somebody to put up a video similar to my garden. So I'll see if anybody would enjoy watching my garden. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.